Jesus Fajardo was the first in his family to graduate college, but his success started in high school.
Middle college definitely was a big help as you know, my parents, they didn't go to college, they didn't graduate high school, so being in middle college was a big help. I got a lot of guidance from the counselors and the staff in the middle college program. They helped me choose my classes, sign up for classes, and look at different career opportunities and how to explore the different interests that I had to ultimately end up making a choice of going into medicine. So I think a lot of my success has to do with them guiding me and showing me how to go about things.
Moreno Valley College classes helped him find his voice and confidence.
I do remember my experiences in a lot of the classes. For example, in public speaking class, before I took that class, I was really shy. I was afraid to speak up in public. And after I took that class, it's basically sometimes people have a hard time keeping you quiet. I just like to talk, and I'm not afraid to speak in large audiences anymore. So that's just one of the many ways that I changed when I was at Moreno Valley College, and it helped me become a more successful, more confident person.
Always a tinkerer, Fajardo was attracted to the most complex engine in existence.
I'm a very curious person. My dad always tells me a story. When I was about 4 years old, I basically took apart the front of his truck, just trying to figure out how the lights work and how everything works. So I've always been interested in how things work, and there's nothing more complex and fascinating than the human body.
For doctors, holding a life in one's hands happens in many different ways.
I've had a lot of them in the hospital, but I think the one that I'm most proud of and that I tell my friends about the most is when I was on the transplant team about 6 months ago, and we got to go out to a local hospital where a patient basically was brain dead but had been generous enough to donate his body for organ transplantation to help other people. And I got to go to that hospital with the transplant surgeon and pick up the liver and then bring it back to our hospital. And then I got to carry the liver in the little cooler into the operating room where all the surgeons were waiting, and actually got to help in putting the liver in the new person. And I got to see that patient the following day. And that made a big difference because without the liver, the patient only had a couple weeks to live, but now has a couple of years. So knowing that I had some part of it is really satisfying.
Medicine, Fajardo says, requires knowledge gained outside of science.
Getting into medicine, it's a very competitive field, and I feel even now it's getting even tougher. And I think the most important thing for people to know is that in addition to academics and getting good grades, people have to have a really varied interest and participate in various activities to show that they're a well-rounded person, and also volunteer in hospitals to get an idea of what it's like helping people and being around medical emergencies. All those extracurricular activities will help later on as to distinguish yourself from other applicants, but also to, when you talk with patients, you can share similar interests or with your coworkers. So it's definitely good to have more things to do than just study.
He soon figured out that he didn't have everything figured out.
When I first went into medical school, I thought I had everything figured out. I thought I was going to be an emergency medicine doctor. I was a leader of the emergency medicine interest group, and I met all the emergency doctors at the hospital. But then, after I went to surgery, my opinions changed. So in 5 years, hopefully I'll be finishing up residency in orthopedic surgery and maybe applying to business school to become not just a physician, but also a leader within the hospital and in the community.